Once I enter the teaching field, I hope to teach K through 2. These students will just be starting out with writing and reading on their own. Some may come in on the first day with quite a bit of background knowledge, but others will have none. It's not about getting them all on the same level, but instead encouraging them at their own pace. Most of the students I will have will be in the beginner stage of reading and writing. This means they will be learning phoneme grapheme correspondences, phonics rules, and word families. They will also be learning to read and write high-frequency words. Students in this stage are often still struggling with reading. They cannot read silently yet, so instead they read aloud, slowly and carefully. Since they are still learning phoneme grapheme correspondence, they have to stop every once in a while to sound out unfamiliar words. At this stage of literacy, children are able to make predictions about a story and relate to them with text-to-self connections, both of which are very important for comprehension. They're starting to recognize the beginning, middle, and end of a story, which helps their reading and retelling of a story. In my elementary school, we had a set amount of time put aside for silent reading every day. I would always notice whether or not the teacher was reading as well. Despite the amount of work that needs to be done, it's important to pick up a book and model a love of literature. As a teacher, it will be my job to encourage my students to envelop themselves in literature they're interested in. I never truly appreciated literature until I was able to understand what it meant. Having the whole class participate in a grand conversation after a read aloud is a great way to make sure they grasp the story. I'd also take the time to emphasize that one student may have discovered a different meaning than another. Every story can relate to each student in a unique way. Chapter 4 of the textbook has a wonderful example of the interactive read aloud procedure. By allowing the students to be involved, they will likely be more interested as well. When choosing which books to read aloud, it's important to choose from all sorts of genres. This ensures that each student will be more likely to find a book or genre that suits them. One last way to encourage a love of literature is by providing a wide range of genres in the classroom. Every student in the classroom could connect better with a certain genre, author, and/or style of writing. It's important to provide enough books for each student's interest. This is where it helps to know your students well. Since I would like to host grand conversations frequently, the desk layout that would make the most sense would be a U-shape. This will promote discussion, hopefully, since everyone can see everyone. It will make the students feel like it is more casual, so they feel more comfortable giving their input. My elementary school teachers always had word walls somewhere in the room. Since I hope to teach in K through 2, the students will likely need reminders of high frequency words still. With this at the front of my classroom, they will have the ability to practice reading and writing them. Dr. Gully is always saying how children should be read to every day from the moment they're in your belly. This is why it's so important to find a way to involve the families of your students. Children can learn quickly if a daily pattern is developed at home on top of practice in the classroom. One way to keep the family involved is with book bags. In elementary school, we would get to take home a bag full of books twice a month. Our parents would read them to us or vice versa. When we finished a book, our parent would sign off on it so the teacher knew it was read. A great way to keep parents informed is by using the website remind.com. This acts as a sort of class webpage. A teacher can post what type of literacy plan will be covered for the week, and the parents will receive an email and/or they can check the website instead of relying on their children to update them. I was always very excited to have my family read something I worked hard on writing in elementary school. Throughout the year, it would be nice to have each student keep a compilation of writing assignments we've done in class. Then families could keep up with what their students are doing in school. According to the book, there are several ways to provide support for English language learners. The first is by making sure you are giving explicit instructions on strategies and skills. It really helps to emphasize what needs to be done in more ways than one in order to ensure every student understands. Encouraging English language learners to speak in class can be very beneficial. It doesn't necessarily have to be in front of the entire class, but maybe to just a partner or small group. Practicing informal speaking can help ELLs develop conversational and academic language. When you divide students into small groups, you are providing a perfect opportunity for them to learn social skills. With an English language learner, this is extremely important for learning the culture of literacy. I hear all the time how it's easier for kids to learn through their peers. Reading aloud to the class is important for many reasons, but it can prove to be very beneficial for English language learners. Reading to your students is a great way to model fluent reading. It helps ELLs familiarize themselves with English sounds, vocabulary, and written language structures. Providing background knowledge for a book that is soon to be covered in class is very helpful to all students, but especially English language learners. It can provide vast knowledge about the world, which in turn can better develop their comprehension for future stories they may read. I always enjoyed when my teachers provided an activity that involved real life situations. These activities can also be very useful for ELLs. Using these activities for literature circles and reading and writing workshops is a great example. It is more meaningful for them if they can see how it will be relevant later in life.